Welcome to the Beau Show, the home of faith, family, and freedom. As I explore the culture that we live in, those of you watching know that I take a more cultural approach to my show. I feel like politics itself can be cumbersome and a downer, so I take a 360-degree approach looking at how our society changes and why those changes occur. The worlds of entertainment and fashion are by their very nature progressive, edge-cutting industries. And we need boldness from time to time, or we'd never change. Nevertheless, sometimes fashion cycles back around. High fashion also can seem downright ridiculous too, where alien-looking models sport things that no one would ever wear. Yet, audience members sit beside the runway oohing and eyeing and clapping like it's the greatest thing they've ever seen. It's like they have confirmation bias that what they see is supposed to be great, so they react in that manner. The comedian Sacha Baron Cohen, who is known for punking people without breaking character, did this at a fashion show as the character of Austrian TV host Bruno on his Ali G show. He does a great job of lampooning this very phenomenon that I'm talking about. Watch.
How did you manage to maintain a natural look?
Well, I have a good hairdresser.
What is the philosophy of the show?
It's kind of like trailer trash, trailer park trash.
What it is trailer trash?
It's kind of like, I guess, like backwoods from like, just like middle of nowhere, kind of poor, dressing what you have around.
Also, they are very primitive, rubbish people.
Kind of, yeah.
So tell me, do you hope that these white trashing people will buy the clothes?
I don't think they can afford it.
They are too poor. It's like this, no? We take the clothes from the homeless people and we sell them in the shops.
Jack up the price.
And then the homeless people cannot buy them.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah. That is the beauty of fashion.
Yeah.
So how important is fashion to you?
Fashion is very important. It's what keeps us creative. It's what keeps us alive. It's what keeps us inspired. It's what makes us get up and go out of our houses every day. You know what? She's a real fashion icon living in her own time.
I'm from New York, and I come across a lot of people who are not from here, but who are from other parts of the world, who really have absolutely no fashion sense.
They look ridiculous.
There's no personal style.
Why don't you just put them on trains, send them to a camp and say bye-bye? Yeah.
I would love to say bye-bye to most of them.
A lot of the style gurus in Austria are saying Osama bin Laden is like the best dressed guy. Do you think so?
I think he's cool.
He's so cool.
Yeah, I don't know if he's the best dressed guy, but he's definitely very fashionable.
I tip my hat to Cohen that he can do this with such deadpan when these people are being made fools of with their own words. Fashion, for the most part, is a liberal's world. It is designed to push the envelope and break out of conservative standards, even if those are ridiculous and ridiculously expensive. Just like that designer said in the Bruno clip, they want you to look homeless, but they don't want homeless people actually wearing their clothes. Balenciaga, a powerhouse of fashion, began in 1919, the brainchild of Spanish designer Cristobal Balenciaga. He has been hailed as a couturier of uncompromising standards, with his bubble skirts and odd modern silhouettes. During World War II, customers risked their safety to come see his designs in Paris. Historians believe that Balenciaga's continued activity during the Nazi occupation of Paris was made possible by his connections with Spanish dictator General Francisco Franco, who was Adolf Hitler's close ally. The relation to Franco was so close, in fact, that Balenciaga designed clothing for the Franco family. Because Balenciaga was only one of about 60 companies who could operate during the war, and due to the raw materials coming from Spain, it gave him a competitive advantage. Not to mention the fact that the Nazis and Franco family had a personal interest in keeping his house flourishing. His most important contribution to fashion, many believe, was his manipulation of the woman's waist, which gave the female a new silhouette. Even Jackie Kennedy wore his designs, which actually upset her husband, President John F. Kennedy, for fear of it being perceived as too lavish for a first lady. As it turns out, her father-in-law, Joseph Kennedy, discreetly paid those bills. This is interesting to think about in today's world, where first ladies are expected to dress lavishly, and designers clamor to work with them, as long as you're a Democrat. Melania Trump was snubbed by most designers. Balenciaga closed his fashion house in 1968, and he died in 1972. But in 1986, the house was revived, and presently it is owned by French company Kering. It has been headed by creative director Demna Gvasalia since 2015. Some of the pre-fall collections have been promoted by Vanity Teen, which shows you they are trying to aim younger. Sweatpants by Balenciaga carry a price tag of $1,190. They also accept crypto payments and have created t-shirts in support of Ukraine. I'm sure you've heard all about the whole FTX collapse recently and how that got directed to Ukraine as well. Balenciaga was in the news recently, first because of the severed ties with Kanye West. But not long after that happened, as Balenciaga was trying to distance itself from Ye's remarks about Jewish music executives, they wound up doing something far worse. In November, a Balenciaga 2023 spring campaign was released featuring children holding a teddy bear in bondage attire. Take a look at these images. Gabriele Galimberti, the photographer, claimed the images were part of a project series called Toy Stories. Now, the social media reaction was swift and furious. So Balenciaga said, quote, "We sincerely apologize for any offense our holiday campaign may have caused. Our plush bear bags should not have been featured with children in this campaign. We have immediately removed the campaign from all platforms," unquote. Hours later, Balenciaga apologized for a separate campaign in which a prop promoting an Adidas handbag displays the text from a Supreme Court opinion in United States v. Williams, which upheld part of a federal child pornography law in a child pornography case. In this opinion, which was written by the late Justice Scalia, he talks about simulated sex by minors, virtual or otherwise, and how the visual medium's portrayal, even with tricks of the camera, must cause a reasonable viewer to believe that the actors actually engaged in that conduct on camera. Now, think of the explicitness of this Balenciaga photo and the overall metaphor. This campaign featured children holding bags that were teddy bears in bondage. Bondage is, of course, a certain sexual fetish. But then the campaign features a handbag that sits on top of papers of a Supreme Court decision about the definition of whether certain suggestive images can be considered overt child pornography. Is that a mere coincidence? Well, Balenciaga, only hours after it removed the photos of the kids with the bondage bears, released another statement saying this: "We apologize for displaying unsettling documents in our campaign. We take this matter very seriously and are taking legal action against the parties responsible for creating the set and including unapproved items from our Spring 23 campaign photo shoot. We strongly condemn abuse of children in any form. We stand for children's safety and well-being," unquote. Big celebrities that have ties to Balenciaga are Kim Kardashian and model Bella Hadid. Bella erased her latest Balenciaga campaign from her Instagram, but made no comment. And neither did Kim K. Now, isn't that special? Hadid jumped on the BLM and transgender bandwagon, but her mouth is surprisingly shut when one of her fashion brands puts out an overtly disturbing children's campaign. No comment. Quiet as a mouse. But wait, it actually gets worse. After trying to do damage control for these two separate ads that they claim they didn't approve, they replaced the ad with another one. This time with an adult redhead model, and on her desk is a copy of Michael Boremann's book, Fire from the Sun. Boremann's is a 59-year-old Belgian painter and filmmaker, and in an introduction to Boremann's art contained in Fire from the Sun, the David Zwirner Gallery described the work as featuring, quote, toddlers engaged in playful but mysterious acts with sinister overtones and insinuations of violence, unquote. Now, how on earth can anyone take Balenciaga seriously when they first post a disturbing kids ad, apologize and take it down, then take another campaign image down because it displays a Supreme Court decision about virtual child porn, then issue a statement saying that they condemn child abuse, and then days later replace it with an image with a book by an author who depicts children in sinister, violent situations? How is this possible? In fashion, so many people have to look again, proofread, and review photos before they are released. To say that they released unapproved content is absurd. Tons of people approved this. And let's just take the first set of images. Kids with bondage bears? Did no one see this as disturbing? Did no one on that set find that disturbing? Was the Balenciaga rep just on his or her phone the whole time over there just Snapchatting? Photographer Gabriele Galimberti told CNN in a statement Wednesday that the direction and shooting of the campaign were out of his hands. He said this, quote, I am not in a position to comment on Balenciaga's choices, but I must stress that I was not entitled in whatsoever manner to neither choose the products nor the models nor the combination of the same. As a photographer, I was only and solely requested to lit the given scene and take the shots according to my signature style. As usual, the direction of the campaign and of the shooting are not on the hands of the photographer. I suspect that any person prone to pedophilia searches on the web and has unfortunately a too easy access to images completely different than mine, absolutely explicit in their awful content. Lynchings like these are addressed against wrong targets and distract from the real problem and criminals.